on that engagement. A nice little hot drop situation. They find everybody will be totally fine though, Blank. We're going to get everybody back to their feet because why not?
Oh, Chinese Hawkeye strikes again. So good to see, honestly. He actually got quite a big tag off as well onto the other player with the bow. I mean, it was about to happen eventually. He is one of the most successful players with off-meta weapons. Meantime, ETSH getting some much-needed points, hopefully here. Currently in 15, but I do think 27 points. It's a bit rainy as well, actually.
Ooh, nice little pre-fire there from Ragnarok. Knows that smoke likely to be the cover that they're going for. The recall beacon that this fight is basically next to might have been overcommitted to here by a few teams, but I think that ETSH, yeah, I think, okay, so Geeky are actually now pulling up on the recall beacon in Jadina City on the south side with Nurzed, so they can get a little bit more aggressive with this one. I don't know if ETSH, yeah, no, they do also have an outpost. I'm seeing Baby actually very, very far north, much closer towards the circle. Might struggle to get towards a recall beacon up there, though. So for ETSH, holding this fight on lock is much more important.
Absolutely. This is a case of basically being at a full disadvantage. Luckily, there is a wraparound, but now Geeky moves in. And every single player goes down. It's a good setup there from Geeky. 2 angles held, and you know what? They don't check their corners. They do not check their corners.
Oh, that's nasty. Fortunately, though, Baby does manage to find his way through. This is all the way up in Heme Town. So what is this, like 4 kilometers away from that fight? He's been on the road for a while. Very looted, actually, so has been stopping off somewhere. But getting the rest of the team back up in Heme Town? I mean, this is a pretty quick rotation off the back of almost getting entirely squad wiped for ETSH. So not terrible, really, at all. And Heme Town unlooted.
I guess you could call it a rotation, I suppose. It's pretty good, to be fair. You do completely circumvent all of the teams that are lined across that northeast side. What are VP doing?
What's going on?
Oh, I think I understand. I understand. No, I understand. They not call themselves so they can get the recall close towards the circle. That's the only thing that makes sense here to me.
They did all knock themselves in Meiran, though, which is in the next circle.
Yeah.
And the last player's in the blue zone somewhere?
No, VP is still... Wait, actually, wait, I don't understand.
What has just happened to VP?
They do recall.
No way.
They do recall. But where?
I actually can't see them on the map. We've got our map feed up. You guys can pull up your map feeds as well at home. Maybe you can help us out because we're trying to spot them. They're normally green on the map feed. You can access the map feed over on the YouTube channel, certainly. But yeah, interesting decision there for Virtus Pro. Not sure what's going on with that one. Either way, we've got plenty of other teams making their way through. And I think the big news here, Blank, is that this Rondo is much more action-packed on the hot drops than we've seen from either of the other 2 Rondos on these starting positions.
Absolutely. So weird. So weird. There is like there's a lot of things that go into that where, you know, you get the recall beacon off wherever they are, but also they got 3 elims, and I think they heard teams like barreling it down towards them, and they were worried to hold that position as 3. So they just, maybe they were low HP as well. Maybe they didn't have much loot on board. They're like, we can't really stay here. I don't know. You know what, Seven? Please talk to them. This is exactly what you're there for. That's what I need after this game. I need knowledge.
What do you think you're doing, Virtus Pro? That's the big question that's on everyone's minds right now, because they're now still out of the blue. The analyst desk thinks that they may have been dropping back down to... Okay, we found them. Yeah, the analyst desk was right, because they were saying probably going back down to Tinlong Gardens. I mean, sure. I just think that you're in Meiran. That I don't think there was anyone really too close to you. You just loot up there. And then move from there potentially.
The thing was is that True Rippers and E Arena were both barreling towards it. So that's the only, like, I'd somewhat This is what I was saying before, and I somewhat agree with Max there, where we're saying that maybe they were worried about third party, but still, it's just a very strange maneuver to pull. You're trying to limit the amount of eliminations you give across. Your player's down towards Tin Long Garden anyway, so you just regroup as the 4-man rather than have him go out early and then risk getting the res later on. That's the only things I can think of. Again, it's stage 2, so you got plenty of time to make that crossing back in with the circle moving down towards the south. They are quite fortunate in that regard. But yeah, either a brain fart moment or a real big brain blast. You know, the Baja blast brain moment right there.
Feel a real Jimmy Neutron with that one. Goodness me. I mean, you don't nade 3 of your own teammates and have the vehicle explode by accident, right? Like that's a purposeful decision. So yeah, that's really, really puzzled us. And maybe we should be focusing more on what's going on close to the center of the circle. We've got a couple of teams over on the north side. This is up by Heme Town, where we saw that recall come through from ETSH, but they're not engaging in this fight. This is a little bit of a standoff between ArcRed and Team Flash, 2 teams who, well, now after yesterday, ArcRed a little bit far behind from the bubble on 3rd place, but still within thinking distance of being able to catch up. What is that? 21 and 7, so 28 points behind Team Flash right now. Definitely achievable during a day to make up that gap, but they do need to start off with a big game. And of course, have all the other teams around them do pretty poorly as well. The river that sits down that north side that stretches down from Muhopan down towards Lo Huaxing is going to be a difficult crossing for teams in the middle of this circle blank.
Yeah, I think that, again, it's one of the areas of the map that has a lot of water involved. And this one is particularly nasty where it sort of dips down towards this valley on the riverside. So a lot of teams are going to try and confirm over towards the eastern arena of this map. But even then, it's still some uncomfortable zone to play in. This is what always is tough about Rondo, is that you do get parts of the map which are incredibly open. And that is sort of alleviated by the fact that you can create the craters with the nades, etc. Okay, Reverb. Again, ETSH taking a bit of a lesson from Geeky and playing the corners themselves.
Absolutely. Good to learn from your mistakes, I suppose. Bows now trying to stay alive on the inside. Nades are pouring in. ETSH on the rock up, and it looks like Team Flash, they're getting harried at the back as well. The backup not quite there. Finally, they do crash in. No, hang on a minute. That's ETSH, not Team Flash. But Bows is still giving it a good go. He's found one, done a lot of damage to a second, and he's still playing around in these corners. Maybe it will continue to be the case, but steps into the line of fire. Bows goes down next. ETSH, they lose Reverb on that fight. Alliance are rocking up to it as well on the north side, and maybe an important position given the circle shift here, Blank. But ETSH, and it seems like Team Flash are gonna have a little bit of a nightmare on the north side. Muhoban recall is within distance, but you've got DRX in the way, and Alliance, the bookend, on the other side of that fight.
Yeah, DRX are absolutely guarding that position too. For Alliance, that was a fight that I did not think they would lose. You know, that is most of the time when we see Alliance push positions, we see them just fall on their face, and it does look sad. It looks very sad. But that time around, you know, you've got 2 players knocked, 1 player still in the building. That should be an easy cleanup for Alliance. DRX, so yesterday, what a game to finish things off on. 20 elims and the chicken dinner, which did shoot them up into first place despite all the good work that was done yesterday by Regnum Kaya. Regnum Kaya definitely wanting to regain that top spot just for reputation and bragging rights. But for them, they're quite happy just to get into top 3.
It'll be good enough. Top 3, I mean, everybody would be happy with that. Unless maybe Regnum Kaya or DRX. They both want that top spot. Alliance now cleaning up the last parts of that fight that we saw there. But ArcRed, we know they're one of the few teams here that really like to third party. And it looks like they're going to do just that. Iftar. Oh dear. Taking those knocks over towards Alliance. They fully committed to this building, and now ArcRed are going to get ahead of this one. I like this rotation coming through from ArcRed, not necessarily crashing directly onto the building, littered with vehicles on the approach. Look at that one. Goodness me, a veritable scrapyard. But instead, playing further in and encircling Alliance, forcing them into this fight. The downside is that DRX can third party this as well.
Yeah, but I think DRX still needs to hold out over towards north, and they do. They take down Final player from the Flash there, which is good news. Balls are also making their way in, so I think DRX will turn attention. That is such a clean sweep. It's like the balls are coming. Oh, the balls are now knocked and all dead. Well played, DRX. Goodness me. I'm a little bit sad that Alliance didn't leave Jimmy out on an off angle. In that instance, I would have much rather they got that res off and had that opportunity to take some shots from the sidelines over towards Arcred. You get an opening knock, and from there, your life gets a lot easier. But like you say, now you sort of penned into this one building.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a stopgap. Nice nade on in, and 2 players for Alliance fall. That should be this fight done and dusted. These recall beacons, yeah, you're not even going to think about getting them. Easy for Bad Boy. Does step out low and a little bit too bold. Doesn't clear that last player, but DRX might do it for him. Oh dear. Alliance. Now he's checking. I mean, he did check the corner. That's exactly what you need to be doing. Glory, wait, not so lucky. I mean, this whole fight. Wait, GK?
No. Look, somehow Snowick's got the res off for Boars. They're back up to 4, dropping on top of DRX again.
Oh my goodness. This is getting crazy on the north side. GK are rocking up into this fight as well. Alliance last player is doing a lot against Arcred with the assistance of GK. And as you just said, Boars are back up at 4, fighting off against DRX. We thought that was going to be a huge point bonus for them. But no, maybe not. They're going to still cling on for dear life. Another nade comes in. Oh, it's Verse Pro. They're in the circle blank against E-Arena.
Yeah, they've made it. They've made it. It was an interesting decision they made earlier, but now they need to deal with E-Arena, who are currently down on 3 players. But these initial nades are fantastic, and now Malloy has a lot to do here as a solo.
Real tall order. Malloy gets the first though. That's how you want to start. 3rd of HP gone, and will take the rest from the knock coming through from Tony K. And that is VP down and out. They get 4 points. But they have really captured our minds in the first part of this match. We'll have to reconvene with them later on. I'm sure Seven's going to grab them, pull them aside by the scruff of their neck and say, what do you think you're doing? We'll have to wait for the answers there. Boars back up into the fight against DRX, and seemingly DRX looking to struggle a little bit. With that recall coming on through, they may be able to farm a couple more points, but Boars turning it around.
Now they are. I mean, for DRX, the thing in my mind is a case of, oh, they let it go through so they can farm more points on the lobby. I imagine you never want to let that happen, because now they've got to get further in. A nade over the top from So Easy doesn't quite tag on. But yeah, I mean, the loot is pretty limited for the Boars after they dropped in. You get whatever kit you're given. Boars now last player remaining. Not able to quite find that shot, though, and that leaves So Easy down. Kaixei should be able to clean house, though. Either way, 8 elims. Not bad.
Hey, that's how you want to do it. At the moment, Regnum Kaya have not been able to get anything so far. They've been quiet on the western side, one of the few teams to stay west of this river blank, and they have been keeping out of things. So at the moment, DRX take the top spot. Question is, how survivable will it be from that northern side? And a knock over towards Silas behind for Regnum Kaya. Pretty nasty. That's not something they're really going to be going back for. So they're playing on as 3 underneath Weibo.
Yeah, I mean, Weibo's got that high ground. It's a lovely bit of high ground as well. I mean, you don't really want to have to play towards the center of the circle here. GK's forced to, off the back of some unfortunate starts there. My ghouls are currently recovering versus Nuclear Zone. Becoming some nuclear zombies here in the lobby.
This is one hell of a story arc, and not so strong arc on that nade, unfortunately. Yeah, I gotta still keep bobbling them through, not connecting onto the ghouls. Godspeed in range of the shotgun, not quite. And Arthur hops back into the face of another. That's a really nice pickup and an immediate flush for Yatka. Leaving Nuclear Zone now just on 1 player alive. See if they can beat Team Secret's tally from Group Green as they crush on over the ghouls, looking to go nuclear against Nuclear Zone. Sweeping through the rest of it, but Ichi goes down, and the blue zone is causing a little bit of trouble here. Without recall beacons now, you do need to be careful, and they will guaranteed lose 1. Tried to close the door on him, but it's not going to happen.
I mean, he did.
No
he
way.
did close the door on him, and he got knocked because of it and flushed. Radioactive ghouls now looking to finish things off, but Fajita is a little bit of a strong member on the side of Nuclear Zone. Could clutch this out, but it's Kaixei from DRX actually to move on in. The Burmese ghouls will have to do something about this. Luckily, there's some shots from the sidelines to immediately take him down.
And DRX are down to 1 with that as well. They've only got QXZ out down further south here. Burmese ghouls, they've been double third party to keep them alive as 3 and allow them to get some healing on board, but they are really lacking on that healing. No first aids remaining, no nades really there. DRX dropping that deployable cover, wanting to guard out the Burmese ghouls on this northeastern side. Regnum Kaya yet to push in. Weibo actually the team to go proactively through. And the cover flares start to establish some cover moving in. Burmese ghouls making their move.
I've blessed the ghouls with some gravestones to hide behind here. Hopefully they can make their way through the marshes over towards DRX. But True Rippers actually have a strong spot over on the eastern side. They're consistently taking shots over towards the west. Weibo did take a fair bit of damage coming through from Influence Rage. You can't really ever count Influence Rage out. All those players are incredibly good. I'm a bit disappointed that they're not in the top 3 after their strong start of Group Red. Either way, all the teams up here are super deserving of their spot, and the teams that I expected to make it through anyway.
Oh, yes. Spotted. Nice discipline from the ghouls as they seemingly love a bit of rondo on this final day for themselves, trying to get away from an 11th place. Still, I think, a little bit too tall of an order to get up towards 3rd place blank, but you know what that means? You're going to be able to see them in last chance. And if they get to the grand finals, they're going to be one of our most played teams, I suppose. Unless we get a Gauntlet team also. Okay, I'm not going to continue to do this maths, but still, you'll be happy to see them again.
I would, yeah. Definitely a lot to go over there in a short amount of time, which we do not have, as we are coming to a close here on Rondo at stage 5, moving to stage 6 soon. Regnum Kaya officially do outlast DRX, but they don't out-elim them, currently with 9 total. Good nades from Lord over the top, does take down 1 from Influence Rage, leaving just Lil Boy up and remaining. I think Lil Boy is definitely not someone you want to back into a corner, though, because he can strike out quite wildly in these final moments. Weibo didn't even really want to touch Influence Rage after they took a few knocks from them.
I mean, Weibo are back to full force now, though. And I did see Sook still has that explosive bow. Maxman's really very happy. He's only got the 1, though, so maybe not quite there. I mean, there's the shots coming over through to Twisted Minds, having a tough time. They're going to have to move further east as well. They're regrouping all towards it. They're fully committing to a pretty much full front fight with just this duo from Influence Rage. Can't get rid of them. All you need to do is land 1 nade properly, and that should be them done and dusted. But Twisted Mind's struggling, and Lil Boy steps out for the spray. Weibo are taking shots out towards them as well. They just don't have any room to maneuver.
Not one a limb there over to PK, still going his E-Arena. They've been playing with 3 for a long while, and it's been not an easy locations. During Gauntlet, this was a circle where Regnum Kai was able to pick himself a 2nd place, hoping to finish off here with a 1st, considering, you know, Gauntlet was a much harder stage.
No. That Molotov started to burn, but the play zone actually got that knock over towards Twisted Minds. They're playing as 4. They couldn't get on through. I mean, you said Regnum Kaya, they came 2nd from this position back in the Gauntlet. They did manage to sneak their way through onto this one, I think it's safe to say. Weibo didn't control them moving on in. They were all the way on that northern side, just to the west of where Burmese ghouls are right now. Looks like they're going to try and poke their noses in too.
Oh, Lil Boy's still going here. It's a good pickoff. For him, I don't think he was too unhappy with the play zone stealing away in a limb for him, because he's already laddered up in towards placement points. So it's a give and take there for Lil Boy. Gemma Backpack does finally run out of juice, though, so he's going to start taking big damage. Zed Wolf finds short off towards Godspeed as they attempt to rotate in. They do get Yatka towards the front line, though, at least.
Yeah, it looks like, yeah, Unknown gets clipped as well, so Yatka not going to be able to get them back up. more than likely. And Regnum Kaya up to 2 elims now, Blank. They're chasing down that 120. They want to stay ahead of DRX, and Little Boy will finally go down to Weibo, who are playing as 3 after losing Sook. In the meantime, Regnum Kaya trying to step up, but True Rippers, I mean, on this eastern side, leaving Hydro down on the south, they've got a pretty solid hold onto this one.
Yeah, True Rippers played a pretty slow game here. I think they did a good job of controlling over towards the north side, though, to be able to confirm onto this position. And as of 4, they have a massive chance to close out this game. I'm imagining a lot of Indian fans will be very happy with them if they're able to make it happen, which by all means they should. I'd like to see a little bit more of a flex out come stage 7 as teams start to diminish more and more, and you can see Hydro going for this. I really like Hydro as a player. I think he does try and take as many opportunities as possible, and I think he has the chops on him to do it.
He's your Hydro homie going on in right now for the True Rippers. The off angle's good. I think when these two teams start to have a tough time on the south side, Regnum Kaya might have a better time of it, but that circle is just it's gleeful for Regnum Kaya right now, right? Moves completely off of that True Rippers position, and the tables are completely now that Regnum Kaya should be looking to close out.
Yeah, from this spot it's great. I mean, if you do look at it though, it's still pretty uncomfortable for Regnum Kaya. It's like an open location up a hilltop, so you have to be 360 degrees on this. Luckily for them, a lot of the teams on the outer edge are going to start fighting first for position before attempting to fight against Regnum Kaya. Good shot from Jelly over towards Sakura on the cross. Will result in 1 knock, an elim, and Hydro will do the rest. So that leaves 3 teams. 3 Rippers with 4, and both others with just 3. But look at all the utility that True Rippers have been able to maintain here.
Something I didn't consider is that True Rippers are holding this eastern side of the hill against any other team, and now that they are no longer holding it, they themselves can take it. That might make it a little bit harder for Regnum Kaya. Weibo really suffering here on this south side. Just could not transition further north, but still a pretty solid game for them. Getting up to 9 elims here. Blank still very much in the conversation for a 3rd place as Regnum Kaya start to pick up those elim points too. They want to try and rack up as many as possible. Maximum they can get though is 9 on this match. K33Z down in the divot. They will find it. The flex out's here, but is the True Rippers lineup too much to handle now? Because they have not wasted time in repositioning here. Nice and proactive.
I think they were a little slow, actually. I think they were a little slow to this. And I think they allowed Regnum Kaya to take down Weibo pretty much unimpeded. I think now the big thing is whether they close it out, right? If they close it out, it's absolutely fine. But if they do lose this game, it will be because of that slight delay, slight hesitation. That is a bold peek out coming through from Zedwolf there on the right-hand side.
I mean, they definitely did not want to get stuck into that 3rd party, right? They moved across nice and rapidly, but after that, they just, yeah, you're right. They could have controlled the fight a little bit more. And they don't have that opportunity anymore. Wild immediately finds Hydro on the trade, and they're looking for more. Not really moving, and that nade looks pretty good, Blank. I might find what they're looking for. Not quite getting a knock, not quite getting a flush. There's an answer over towards Wild, but Zedwolf has some of his own. The cover flares start to drop from the sky, and it is necessary to get this res to keep the numbers advantage on side for True Rippers, facing off against Regnum Kaya. Both teams pretty desperate for these points. Regnum Kaya more for pride than anything to jump up towards that top spot again.
I mean, it's also kind of crazy that True Rippers have eaten through pretty much all their utility already. They were on like 12 nades, they're now to 2. Regnum Kaya have 3 more to work with. So I'm not sure where all those nades went from True Rippers. I mean, coming through thick and fast. Where all those nades went from True Rippers. I mean, coming through thick and fast. Yeah, we're setting things up here. Right now, Regnum Kaya does control a lot of the zone to work with. But True Rippers back up to 4. How they deal with this slice across from Regnum Kaya will be determining how this game ends, John.
I mean, if Zedwolf had a nade or 2 here, this would be probably a different story. But this is, I mean, this is fairly masterful for Regnum Kaya. a little bit allowed to do this by the fact that True Rippers didn't crest over the ridgeline fast enough, or at least push on towards the northern side, right? Wild and Zedwolf, they flexed all the way down south to deal with Weibo. The time was then really to try and push onto Loxy with 2 or 3 of your players for True Rippers. So they did miss that opportunity there.
Yeah, I mean, as a foreman, you always take those pushes, right? As a foreman, you always take those pushes because you're more than confident that you're probably the most dominant force in the lobby at that point in time. For Regnum Kaya, this is a very easy lineup for them. They have the peak over. For True Rippers, they're forced out into the open. For Regnum Kaya, though, it's the fact they have to deal with 4 guns to their 3. So they'll have to be very quick on the approach. And these initial nades, they only have 3 of them, have to be really on target. But there's only a limited amount of space up here on this plateau.
Nade over from Wild.
Oh
Finds
my
Hydro. A massive opener. The answer not going to be there. A little bit off target, unfortunately. Jelly's trying to flank around and find Loxy, allow them to get a little bit further forward. Another nade expended, and it's not going to find the value. Wilds does again. Burns Hydro's health bar down, and I don't think you're going to commit for this res. Maybe you look for it, but the blue zone is pushing. Another nade in, and Jelly and Loxy's fight on the northern side is popping off. You can see that fight in the picture-in-picture down below. Jelly not finding the angle they were looking for, and his position now is known. Hydro back to his feet. True Rippers, they're not going down without a fight, but we'll see if they're able to find it. Wild moving forward. Loxy still in combat. They're moving together, and there's no more nades left for Regnum Kaya. True Rippers have the divots, may be able to make some inroads here. Harsh the forward position.
True Rippers do back off. That res, though, really slowed them down, and it's a hard decision to make whether you play on as 3 there and go for the 3v3 or go for the res, but it does delay them and pushes them further and further up towards this wall, which isolates these angles
Wild.
for Regnum Kaya.
Wolf as well up on the high ground. 1 player found, but Wild's low. Maybe looking for a trade. 2 for 1 right now, but it's an even 2v2. Loxy on the low ground versus Jelly. Zedwolf goes low as well. Up against Harsh. He's going low, but he wins that trade by the skin of his teeth. Stays alive. Loxy's down though. A Jelly in a 1v1. Oh, Regnum Kaya just about stay alive. True Rippers took them right to the wire, but they close it down. A 9-point chicken dinner. The True Rippers gave them the fright of their life, and I think they had a total of 2 HP at the end of that fight blank. But nonetheless, that will be enough. The True Rippers could not get through the blockade from Regnum Kaya.
Yeah, very, very well played from Regnum Kaya. But again, it is that situation where you lose that player in the end game. I think that the aggressive and the correct play would be to go on as 3 and try and get a little bit more momentum over towards that front side. Even better than that was 5 minutes ago when Regnum Kaya was fighting against Weibo. Push up towards the ridge, control that high ground. Don't allow Regnum Kaya to get that lineup across there. It's an annoying one because I think True Rippers do have the aggression required. They do have the gun skill. I mean, they were going fairly toe-to-toe there with Regnum Kaya, right? But they just don't push quite quick enough.
Yeah, that north side not taken. The opportunity not quite there for them yet. Regnum Kaya, though, top of the tables again.
And with that chicken dinner, Regnum Kaya, welcome to the PUBG Mobile Global Championship Grand Finals. Man, there's only a couple spots left after this. Regnum Kaya clutching up the 3v4 in the end game here, Max.
Well, yeah, I think there's only 2 ranks left going into the finals here.
Yeah.
With a performance like this, Regnum Kaya nail in the coffin, it seems like it. True Rippers, you know, good play onto the eastern edge, playing it slow, calm, cool, collected. Maybe a bit slow on the approach of this fight, but I mean, come on. Z-Wolf, the spray with the UMP was down to 4 bullets onto the M4. Oh. This guy was a menace here on Rondo Neptura, and really, again, showing up why he is a perfect pickup for Regnum Kaya.
Isn't he just really, really good stuff coming in from Regnum? And as you said, both of you, right, that we only have 2 spots left for the grand finals. There is no way this team goes out of this top 3 spot now, right? Not the huge, you know, numbers we're used to seeing maybe from some of the other games, some of the other wins we've had from them, but 9 eliminations, that's a 19-point game on the boards, and I think they're just kind of gonna run away with it a little bit here.
They are.
Oh yeah, it's there's no way no one's catching them. I mean, they've got this lobby locked down here, Max.
Yeah, it's a done deal, in my opinion, when it comes to Regnum Cara. No, really solid game. And keep in mind, by the way, we had this exact circle during the Gauntlet stage. It was won by Thunder Talk, but Regnum Cara, they're like, no, not again. We ain't missing out on a free win right now, and they played it really well. I especially liked how they made sure to hold the angle and stop Weber from pushing in onto them. They were so controlling of that ridgeline Niptura, and that setup in the mid to late game transition was literally what won them this entire match on Rondo.
Yeah, it was really nice as well to see that there was no hesitancy once they got those initial knocks onto Weibo, right, to just go ahead, push it, spread out in a really controlled sort of way, very calm, very collected. I think as we said in the, while we were watching it, right, super calm, super... Ah, no!
What? Okay, like, Niptra, I know you wanted to talk about it. Why?
Yes. Just, okay, I want to see them in finals just so that I can talk. VP, I just want to talk. I just want to talk. That's it. Definitely not anything else. Let me tell you something. What are you doing? You were already in zone. I'm so confused by that play. Like, it makes sense. I thought they were going to maybe do that for the solo that was still out in the blue and then just try and recall him, bring him back into the circle. Great. 10,000 IQ play. Not to go back. You're regressing. Go forward in the game. Don't go back and then they come in. They're like, oh, we've made it to zone. Into EA's arms. Okay, just give the points over. It's fine. VP. No.
You know, we need help. YouTube chat. I invoke you. Tell us, put us your best theory in the comments because I am lost. I have no idea what the game plan was as we go through the finishing moments. They can see how hype Regnum Cara were. And of course, as we already said, Hot Jukes pretty much locking in their position for the grand finals. 19 points is definitely going to do that for you, but Weibo getting 14 points. They were in the middle of the pack, and DRX were in second place. They also get 10 points. Most of them on boards, if I'm not mistaken, after the recall. So DRX big farming up north.
Oh yeah, I think DRX are settling down in that second place position as well, putting up some points. Honestly, though, the big mover and shaker for me, it's got to be Weibo. This game here, I think, really sets them up for that possible top 3 finish, especially because we know how well they could do it Aaron Gale Niptura.
Yeah, I agree. I would have liked to see maybe a little bit more proactiveness when it came to maybe sweeping the edges and clearing out more space for themselves in this game. But for a first game of the day, it's a really solid start. 14 points on the board, you know, when the leaderboards are still so close, that I think it's a really good setup for a confident next game when we get onto Erangel.
You got also 2 very important points here. Is that True Rippers get 9 points, which is great, but E-Arena get 9 points. Team Flash, 1 point. I believe they're gonna be very close to one another in the leaderboards. I don't think E-Arena jump in third just yet, but literally just a good game, depending on how Team Flash perform, and they will be the new top 3 squad. As MVP is wild. Are we surprised, Niptura?
No.
Definitely not.
No. No,
Wild's
not at
going
all,
crazy.
man. He is going crazy, and he continues to go crazy. Isn't that insane? Isn't that wild, guys? Isn't that wild that he continues to be super consistent? Day 2, now coming into day 3. Love this for him.
Wild.
That was good. It's true.
Yeah.
It is true. It's pretty, hey, that end game was pretty wild. That's a fact there. You know what, guys? I want to know what you guys think. All right. Was True Rippers just late on that third party, or did they just believe in a fair fight and that's why they stayed back? What do you think, Max?
I wouldn't say late. I think the timing was good. It's just no willingness to commit once they did make that push. They slowed down significantly. But here we go. Leaderboards. No movement from 9th position and above. It's stale. It's stagnant.
Ow.
It's not moving. But yeah, True Rippers back on them. I do think that here, just once you especially find that you have the man advantage, I feel like that point, Niptro, they would have full committed, because if they get a big game, chances are in top 11.
Yeah, I agree. I think Jelly had a really great off angle, but he just wasn't able to capitalize on it. He just wasn't able to get that momentum and push forward and try and be, you know, make something. He was just a little bit too careful on it for my taste. If he had been a bit more into that angle, then yeah, I think he could have done something and they could have probably won the game. But Regnum won the game, and Regnum get 130 points. DRX are at 120. We're starting to see a little bit of a point gap here, guys, because Flash with 108, it's not undoable, of course. EA with 105, I mean, we've got several teams now with 100 points, but it's starting to be run away with. If Regnum can get some top 5 finishes or just some high elim games, they're going to stay well ahead of the rest of the pack.
And we saw Weibo popping off with the explosive bow on that hot drop, right? If he does it again, hey, 6 more points if Flash gets 0 points, and he could be our new podium squad. Weibo looking really solid. Influence Rage, though, Hot Jukes, where are they gone?
Yeah.
They had a stellar start here on day 1 for Group Red, and ever since, they kind of fizzled out completely, not able to really bring too much to the table, except for Lil Boy, though. This game, he was destroying Twisted Minds on the western side. Great plays, but a solo is not going to redeem this tournament for you so far.
Yeah, definitely helped put some points on the board, right? I mean, they're not out of this just yet. And look at that Little Boy. Yeah, with 5 eliminations, he was going crazy there towards the end. Sure, he had a little bit of help from Weibo and EA, but still to
They're still chewing. See what they can find. In the meantime, OG and GS all around the outside. They need the harpoons out. They're not going to be able to find it. Onto the inside of the building, the vault, a classic for Jafar. And WizGod begging to be picked back up, but he doesn't have the time. AKOP with the pin on the nade over in to Jafar's feet. 39 now, neck and neck. All right, with that tiebreaker, DRX crashing in, and it's all up to AKOP.
ओरंगुटान वो बढ़िया खेलते हुए नजर आ रहे हैं कि ओपी का ग्रेनेड को टर्न हो गया एक और इनको भी एलिमिनेट हो गए
Getting into the top 11, which is where you need to at least continue in the tournament, even if you're not qualifying directly to the grand finals. Team Secret.
आइए देखते हैं बैठ मजा आएगा
Sinalizador que é sinalizador que é
कमजोर और हम कमजोर ना हम कभी थे और न कभी हो सकेंगे। मिस्टर प्रेसिडेंट, वक्त का इंतजार कीजिए।
बिना किसी बकचोदी के
Papi, contigo yo me envuelvo sin pero, sin pero. Contigo yo me voy a fuego. Dime qué es lo que pasa.
Tá ligado, chapadão? Ai, o que as mulheres querem
यार आओ यार शुरू करते हैं बिना किसी बकचोदी के
Like third party, fourth party, and it's just craziness there.
It is hectic. I mean, I was talking about the mortar, but I get your point also. Yeah, OP dip is quite interesting as a position on Erangel, the grassy pastures. But yeah, now onto Erangel. Curious to see who's going to be able to step up to the plate, Niptra. I mean, are we going to see Blank's Ghouls do something? Are they going to win an Erangel? I'm still waiting to see a big Erangel game from the Ghouls.
Yeah, I would like to see that. That would be very interesting because, you know, we did see them get that win on Rondo. Now we need to see them get the win on Erangel if they're going to do anything right, because they are a team that needs to do something here. 9th place overall, still a safe enough position for them to get into last chance, but if they really want to make sure that they've got that spot, yeah, a win I think would be the best option for them. Of course, a win, I mean, a win's going to be the best option for any team, right? But for them in particular to solidify that chance and make sure that they're not feeling as pressured for the rest of the day, you know, you want to get that win as soon as possible.
I know I've been repeating myself, but we need to continue the Yangon Galacticos Myanmar legacy to some extent. We've got to keep it going, okay? I was very sad when they didn't qualify through PMCL, but here, of course,
Cross fast, ETSH, they crash a lot of their players in, and they're left only as one as well.
Yeah, I mean, for ETSH, a little bit of an awkward push there. Order's definitely going down. The hero does the right thing just to try and hold the fort down. Try and make this one work. Quick spray. Won't quite find it, and Jimmy will finish off Order. One thing I will say is I think Order's been a little unimpressive this tournament so far. Oh my god, Fade, what a shot. Unfortunately, there is shots from the sidelines from Joker. Immediately shuts them down, so they had the refrag there, so everything's fine. Yeah, I think Order's been a little bit unimpressive. Which I'm sad to see. I really like that guy. I think he's a strong player, but here it's sort of felt like Ketch from Ulf. Yeah, I mean, he has his off tournaments, and he has his tournaments where you're like, oh my, this guy's godly. So yeah, I'm a little confused.
It's I mean, it swings and roundabouts for a lot of players. I mean, we've seen rises and dips from quite a few powerful players over the course of PUBG Mobile's history. It is just the way of things. Sometimes you have an off year, sometimes you have an off week, and you can't really afford for that to be at PMGC if you want to keep things going. But I mean, for Weibo, they're still up in 5th place. They're still 4 points behind 3rd place in a direct qualification spot. So it's not like they're dragging their feet on that front for now. But we are comparing them to past performance, which maybe is unfair, maybe not. It is a bit of a confusing lobby after all on this group. Things have changed. When you add Rondo into the mix, it gets all the weirder. The Boars, they are moving in from that western side right now, close to E Arena. They're also fighting around a bubble of their own, but this time it's around that 11th, 12th place bubble.
Ooh, Circle heads down towards the southeast here. The Burmese Ghouls do grab themselves a location on the eastern side, but for how long will that stay in play? For Alliance as well, they need to move back out from that south side, push over towards the north here. But for Regnum Kaya, they're going to get a move on. Influence Rage will be in front of them. Weibo still hanging on with their one player in Hero. Krona from Nuclear Zone, I think that time is coming to an end.
It would seem so. Stage 4. Maybe a little earlier than he'd like to go down, but not much choice. Team Flash fending off against the Boars here, and the nade comes on through from the outside there, and a nade over towards Team Flash actually catches wind as he was trying to get in and amongst the Boars themselves. And it looks like the Boars are starting to take control of this fight, but Reckon Kaya moving in. Got Weibo as well on the south side, but only a solo. ETSH only a solo as well. And the Boars absolutely have this one in hand. The crawl back though for Win is there. And True Rippers as well, chiming in. So a dangerous fight to be taking. This should be the Boars sweeping through, though. They've taken down the majority of Team Flash, and they only have one more to go. Everybody crawling out to the outside, and actually the Boars try and step on the in. Tops immediately into the fight, and he's going to put him back down, and that is the end of Team Flash.
It's good play from True Rip as well. I really like this. You know, this time I like the slow approach. You see that Regnum Kai is also pushing in, so you don't want to go for this engagement, but you slowly pull yourself further down towards the south side. You gain more control over towards this area, and you can get a shoe in because eventually Regnum Kai is going to have to push something, and True Rippers is going to be ready when that does come through. So this actually was a nice play from True Rippers. I respected the discipline on that. Arcred just have a really nice spot to play out the rest of their game. Some teams would maybe rather be down towards the south side so they can play out those ridges when it comes to the late game. But that does require the circle to push south as well. So it's definitely not a fun one here, John. There's a lot of ifs and buts when we come through to stage 5 and 6.
Yeah, there's a couple of questions that desire an answer. Or at least we desire them to be answered. Sure, plenty of players are dreading what that might be. As at the moment, we're on board with VP, looking to guard out that influence range position. I think under the bridge at the moment, I mean, it's not terrible of a spot, but not favorable for the time being. If it shifts over that direction, it starts to go up in value slightly. E-Arena under pressure, True Rippers. I mean, they're really getting stuck in. To be fair to them today, they have not been bowed out. They will not be cowed, and they will look for these fights, it seems. Willing to get stuck in, but a little bit slow sometimes on pouncing on those opportunities. So the thought is there, the execution just a little bit faster, and maybe they'll be able to jump up into 11th.
I mean, it's not looking terrible, right, for True Rippers. I mean, 49 points. There's still a lot of chance today to get up towards 11th, which is 64. So they're only 15 points behind now. I think it's definitely possible for True Rippers. I think they are learning quite quickly. And even if that last match, like, that's a big adjustment right there, even then. On that engagement of how they played it out. They pushed down. They were like, we need to take advantage of this moment. Then they saw it was getting a little bit hectic. They didn't want to get third party by Regnum Kari, so they pulled back. So I think the overall decision-making process there was really quite good from True Rippers. And that could have gone horribly wrong for them if they actually crashed onto where Balls is currently playing. So yeah, I was quite pleased. Quite pleased how that panned out. Because, you know, looking into the future, I saw very, very bad events happening.
I mean, this gas station's working out well for them for the time being. DRX trying to move up to it. We'll see if they're easily pushed off. Jelly on the outside of this one. This is a really bold decision to be on the outside there. I feel like you just want to go on back in, and you can see that DRX are like, there's a guy on the outside. Let's just try and swipe him. Go for those vehicle plays. And not quite connecting on that first run around. We'll see if they go for a second. Nade over in from Hydro. His feet not exposed, standing on the rooftop there. And they do keep things under control for the time being.
Nice shot from Keo over towards that side of things. Looks like VP again. They're trying to eliminate themselves to help with their timings. It makes sense to me. At this point of the game, one player should have been knocked. That's in their playbook, so they'll do it themselves.
That's a little opener looking to be found here by Hyunbin. Hydro has that lineup. All the players hitting the dirt. No way you can do that. Hyunbin, you should know. These shots are coming through. They're going to see you immediately. Maybe he thought the smoke cover was there. The answering nade is pretty good, though. And Hydro will get knocked. Now it's just Keo on the off angle, and his cover's moving away from him. Jelly's knocked on the flip side as well. On the swivel, hits the deck, stays alive, looks for the flush as well, and Soez goes down too. Now it's just up the kite safe for DRX on the approach. Can't stand up. There's Hart, there's Keo, and they handle DRX on the approach. Held their nerve in the face of it. Hydro goes down, but DRX are taken out. Regnum Kaya look at a rise above. Be free and clear in that first place spot.
Yeah, I mean, for Regnum Kaya, after this game, they're playing it slow now, and absolutely fair enough for them to do that. They know that right now, for them, it's 16 more points and they're done. There isn't massive prize pool difference between first and third place, but getting over towards 150 points off the back of this game, they've basically finished by match 2. So I think for Regnum Kaya, for them, all that matters is just getting a late placing in this game. For True Rippers, though, taking down second spots, big news for them. Very, very big news for them. They did hold a lot of angles there, so it was slightly easier, but still, they held their own. For DRX, it's slightly more unfortunate at 123 points. But again, they're getting very close. They're also getting very close to finishing out that day.
It felt like a little bit of mistiming there by DRX with Hyunbin going for the lie down. He should have known that that angle was completely visible. The smoke blooms just a moment after he went for that play as well. So I wonder if that was what was happening there. Unfortunate for DRX losing that one out, but really good stuff, as you say, for True Rippers. Very, very happy with that fight for them. A little bit messy in the middle of it, but they kept things together. Not sure what Harsh is doing still back there, but their options were very limited. We're on board now with the Burmese ghouls over towards the river, and actually Virtus Pro doing a lot of work against them. Blank. Looks like they've got the counter spell coming on through. Your necromancy might be coming to an end on this game.
Oh, we don't count them out yet. It's still playing down towards the low ground, and the nades could be good. That one looks fairly on target. It's a lot of damage done. Needs a bit more chip on that side of things. Aragon is very lucky. He will get 70% of his HP back. I think the nades should be running dry soon. What the hell? Burmese ghouls still have some back in pocket. I mean, Ichi's still got one more. DBS now pulled out for maximum effect.
Ooh, a lot of damage from Virtus Pro's nades. Godspeed has to dodge the bullets and be effective with his own. Ichi lines them up, but Virtus Pro answer. And in a 4v2, That's not the sort of trade you can go for. They get the flushes, and that is the Burmese Ghouls down, but Alliance have the lineup. They are 2-2 split right now, and they've watched all of this unfold. Aragon to fall, and there's a lot of damage sidling its way on over to the Virtus Pro camp. They're looking for the reses, looking to keep this one going, but Cluck wants to stop it, wants to stop these reses. Looks like they're not going to have too much luck, though, and the fold back might need to come through.
Yeah, I think for Alliance, they did as much as they needed to do there, which was to move up, finish off that fight, hurt Virtus Pro a little bit, and then move back down again. Hero does go out as Alliance are able to hold on. This is probably the best Alliance game we've seen in quite some time now, of the 7 elims so far, with a really controlling presence. I talked about this earlier, John, that ridge down towards the southeast side that currently we're seeing Alliance play around. Very valuable, but requires Circle to come down here. It in fact did. So now Alliance can get a good game off this. Basically, they just need to hold on to that angle, looking over towards Virtus Pro as they slowly move their way down. But for quite a while, that's going to be the only threat to them for quite some time. So I think for Alliance, this game can be played out pretty carefully towards the season side.
We're on this eastern side. You say Alliance just keeping Virtus Pro on their toes, and lots of damage being poured on through this open hillside is not their friend. And it looks like, yeah, Arc Red are going to chime in from that northern side. They've spotted blood in the water blooming around Virtus Pro, and they are like sharks to it immediately. Glory 22, he's not even stopping on the hillside. He's like, okay, I want to know what's going on here. More like piranhas, maybe, because they just feast upon Virtus Pro, not even worrying about Alliance across the way. Somehow Voston doesn't go down to it, but they do manage to clean it out. And I think at this point, Arc Red, they've done their job. They now actually have a decent amount of control with this flex out.
Yeah, pushing down this side was pretty good from them. And I mean, Alliance were slightly more preoccupied with Virtus Pro, and it means that with Arc Red being able to get towards this spot with no knocks going their way, yeah, they actually are able to get a lot done from this spot. Jimmy on a wide off angle, trying to find some of these players coming through from Arc Red. Jelly also getting towards an end game as a solo. Quite important for at least ETSH and True Rippers here. The Boars, I am kind of worried for them. This is like the first time we've seen them in a proper end game. But they are in 12th place, John, which is further than I expected them to go.
All right, well, fantastic stuff. I mean, it's further than I expected from them. I mean, I'm not going to back down from the comments I made about Boars at the start of this group, right? They are a team that I'm really not expecting a lot from here. So to make it to last chance would be a massive victory in my book for the squad to be able to keep things going. And right now, they are on that cusp. And with a good game here, as you say, they could be jumping up to join that top 11 spot